The envelope slipped from my hands and hit the kitchen floor, just as my daughter Linda walked through the door with that fake smile plastered across her face. I stared at the words stamped in red across the foreclosure notice, my heart hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. 3 months behind on the mortgage, and they were taking my house. "Mom, you look pale. What's wrong?" Linda set her designer purse on my counter, the same counter where I'd served her breakfast every morning for 18 years. I snatched up the envelope before she could see it. "Nothing, honey. Just startled me, that's all." She glanced around my kitchen with that look I'd started recognizing lately, the one that said my laminate countertops weren't good enough anymore.
Not like the granite ones in her new McMansion across town. "Listen, Mom, we need to talk about Thanksgiving." She pulled out a chair without asking.
"Derek and I have been discussing it, and we think it's time you stopped hosting."
"It's too much work for someone your age."
"Someone my age? I was 67, not dead."
"I've hosted Thanksgiving for 42 years, I said quietly.
"Exactly. You've done your time. Let me take over this year."
She smiled that smile again.
"Plus, Derek's parents are coming, and honestly, your house is just so small for everyone." My house, the one I was about to lose, the one where I'd raised 3 children on a secretary's salary after their father died, the one where every crack in the ceiling told a story about keeping the heat low so I could afford their school clothes. "Is that all you came to tell me?" Linda stood up, smoothing her expensive yoga pants. "Actually, no, I need you to watch the kids this weekend. Derek booked us a spa retreat and the regular sitter canceled. I have my volunteer shift at the food bank." "Mom," she sighed like I was being difficult, "the food bank will survive without you for 1 day. Family comes first, remember? You always taught us that." After she left, I sat at that kitchen table for an hour, staring at the foreclosure notice. 3 months behind because Linda's son needed braces, and she'd cried about how expensive they were. 2 months behind because my son Marcus needed help with his truck payment or he'd lose his job. 1 month behind because my youngest, Sarah, needed security deposit money for her new apartment. I'd given them everything. My retirement savings, the life insurance money from their father, everything. And now I was losing my home. That's when I saw it, tucked behind the microwave where I'd hidden it 6 months ago. The envelope my sister Donna had given me before she died. "Don't open it unless you absolutely need to," she'd said. "And when you do, make sure they're all watching." I pulled it out with shaking hands. It was thick, stuffed with something. I turned it over and saw Donna's handwriting. "For Margaret, the truth they need to hear." My phone buzzed. Marcus. "Hey Ma, got a bit of a situation. Car insurance is due and I'm short about $400. Can you help me out? I'll pay you back next month, promise." Next month. Just like last month's promise, and the month before that. I held the envelope from Donna in one hand and my phone in the other. Something inside me shifted. Something that had been bending for 42 years finally snapped straight. I typed back, "Come to my house on Sunday at 2. Tell your sisters. We're having a family meeting." "About what?" "You'll see." I sat there in my small kitchen with my outdated appliances and my worn-out linoleum, and for the first time in years, I smiled a real smile. Not the tired one I gave when they asked for money. Not the patient one I wore when they criticized my cooking or my clothes or my furniture. This smile had teeth. Sunday couldn't come fast enough. I spent Saturday cleaning my small house until it shined. I baked Donna's famous lemon cake, the one all 3 kids had loved growing up. I set the table with my good china, the set I'd been saving for special occasions that never seemed special enough. This occasion was special enough. They arrived within minutes of each other, which told me they'd been talking, coordinating, probably wondering what was so urgent that I demanded their presence instead of asking politely if they had time for their mother. Linda came in first, eyeing the setup. "Mom, what's all this? I told Derek I'd only be an hour." Marcus followed, looking uncomfortable in a button-down shirt. "You said it was important." Sarah was last, already texting as she walked through the door. This better not take long. I have plans. Sit down. My voice came out harder than I'd intended. They exchanged glances, but obeyed. That was new. First, let me say something. I remained standing at the head of my table, in my house, in control for the first time in years. I love you 3 more than my own life. Everything I've done for the past 42 years has been for you. Mom, we know, Linda started. I'm not finished. The sharpness in my tone made her close her mouth. I need to tell you about a conversation I had with your Aunt Donna before she died. Marcus shifted in his chair. What's Aunt Donna got to do with this? Everything. I picked up the envelope from the counter. They all stared at it like it might explode. She asked me why I never remarried after your father died, why I never traveled, why I never did anything for myself. Do you know what I told her? Silence. I told her I was happy, that watching you 3 build your lives was enough for me, that I didn't need anything else. I set the envelope back down. She looked me in the eye and called me a liar. Mom, that's harsh, Sarah said, her phone finally forgotten on the table. No, sweetheart, that was honest, something this family hasn't been in a very long time. I walked to the window, gathering courage. She asked me how much money I'd given you over the years. I couldn't even calculate it. Tens of thousands, maybe more. We needed help, Marcus said defensively. That's what family does. You're right. Family helps each other. I turned to face them. So tell me, when was the last time any of you helped me? The silence stretched like taffy. We visit, Linda offered weakly, when you need a babysitter. We call, Sarah tried, when you need money. Marcus stood up. That's not fair, Ma. We're grateful for everything you've done. Grateful? The word tasted bitter. Linda, you told me my house was too small for Thanksgiving. The house I sacrificed everything to keep so you'd have somewhere to come home to. Marcus, you've borrowed $4,000 in the past year alone, paid back 0. And Sarah? I looked at my youngest. You haven't visited me once since I helped you move into that apartment 3 months ago. Not once. Sarah's face flushed red. I've been busy. Too busy for your mother, but not too busy to ask her for money. I picked up the envelope again. Your Aunt Donna knew something was wrong. She saw what I couldn't admit to myself. That you 3 had stopped seeing me as your mother and started seeing me as an ATM machine that occasionally cooked dinner. That's not true, Linda's voice rose. We love you. I believe you do, in your way. My hands were steady now. But Donna made me promise something before she died. She made me promise that if I ever got desperate enough, if you ever pushed me far enough, I would open this envelope in front of all of you. I had their complete attention now. 3 pairs of eyes fixed on that envelope like it contained secrets of the universe. I'm losing my house. The words fell like stones. I got the foreclosure notice on Tuesday, 3 months behind on the mortgage. Linda's hand flew to her mouth. Marcus went pale. Sarah just stared. How? Marcus finally asked. Your mortgage payment isn't that much. It's not, but braces are expensive, and truck payments, and security deposits, and birthday presents for grandchildren I only see when you need a sitter, and Christmas gifts you opened without even looking at the tags, and helping with your electric bill, and your water bill, and your grocery money, and your gas money, and your vet bills, and your car repairs, and every other crisis that couldn't wait but somehow never got paid back. I watched realization dawn on their faces. It wasn't pretty. Why didn't you say something? Linda whispered. I did. Every time I hesitated, you told me family comes first. You reminded me that I'd always told you we take care of each other. You made me feel guilty for even considering saying no. I set the envelope on the table. But this isn't taking care of each other. This is 3 adults draining their mother dry and sleeping just fine at night. We didn't know, Sarah said, tears starting. You didn't ask. Marcus slumped back in his chair. What's in the envelope, Ma? I don't know yet. Donna sealed it, but she told me it would change everything. I sat down finally, suddenly exhausted. She spent her last weeks writing letters, This is one of them. She said when I was ready to stop being a doormat and start being a mother again, I should read it was you here. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were 3 smaller envelopes, each with one of their names on it, and a letter addressed to me. I unfolded my letter first, and Donna's handwriting blurred through my tears. Dear Margaret, I read aloud. If you're reading this, you finally hit rock bottom. Good, it's about time. Linda made a small sound of protest, but I kept reading. I watched you give those kids everything, and I watched them take it all without question. You taught them to be takers by never teaching them the word no. This is partially your fault, sister, but it's mostly theirs now. They're adults. They know better. My voice cracked, but I continued. In each of their envelopes is a copy of every check you've written them for the past 5 years. I got them from your bank statements when you weren't looking. Forgive me. I had them totaled by a CPA. I think you need to see the numbers. I think they need to see them too. The room was so quiet I could hear the clock ticking in the hallway. Marcus owes you $18,342. Linda owes you $22,917. Sarah owes you $12,608. That's $53,867 total. Marcus's face had gone gray. Linda was openly crying now. Sarah looked like she might be sick. I'm not telling you this to make you demand repayment. I'm telling you this so you stop feeling guilty. You don't owe them anything more, Margaret. You've given enough for 3 lifetimes. What you do with this information is up to you. But please, please stop setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. Love, Donna. I set the letter down and picked up the 3 smaller envelopes. I slid them across the table to each of my children. Open them. They did, moving like zombies. I watched their faces as they read the itemized lists. Every loan, every gift, every crisis that couldn't wait, all laid out in black and white. Linda broke first. I had no idea it was this much. $22,000, I said quietly. That's a year of mortgage payments. Maybe, if I'd had that money, I wouldn't be losing my house. We'll pay you back, Marcus said immediately. All of it. We'll figure it out. With what money? You can't even make your truck payment. He flinched like I'd slapped him. Sarah was just staring at her list, tears streaming down her face. $12,000. I took $12,000 from you, and I haven't even called to say thank you. No, you haven't. Quote, we're terrible people. Linda sobbed. We're terrible, selfish people. No, I said firmly. You're my children, and I love you. But yes, you've been selfish, and I let you. I enabled it by never saying no, never setting boundaries, never making you face consequences. I took a deep breath. That changes now. What do you mean? Marcus asked carefully. I mean, I'm done being your bank. I'm done being your free babysitter. I'm done being someone you only call when you need something. I stood up again. I'm going to sell this house before they foreclose. I've already called a realtor. Moving into a senior apartment downtown. 1 bedroom, no guest room, no yard for the grandkids. Just me. Mom, you can't. Linda looked panicked. Where will we have Christmas? Figure it out. You're hosting Thanksgiving anyway, remember? Because my house is too small. She had the grace to look ashamed. What about the kids? Sarah asked. They love coming to Grandma's house. They love coming to play in the yard while you scroll through your phone and I do all the work. That's not the same thing. The words hurt to say, but they were true. If you want them to see me, you can bring them to visit me. Actual visits, where we spend time together. Novel concept, I know. Marcus cleared his throat. Ma, we'll help you save the house, all of us. We'll each take a portion of what we owe and start making payments to catch up the mortgage. Can you afford that? Really afford it? Without coming back to me in 2 months with another crisis? The silence was answer enough. I didn't think so. I started clearing the table. Here's what's going to happen. I'm selling the house. With what I clear after paying off the mortgage, I'll have enough to live comfortably in my apartment for several years if I'm careful. I'm keeping my volunteer work at the food bank because it makes me happy. I'm joining a book club because I've always wanted to. I'm taking a pottery class at the community center because Donna always said I'd be good at it. What about us? Sarah's voice was small. What about you? You're adults. You'll figure it out. Just like I had to figure it out when your father died and left me with 3 kids and a mountain of debt. I softened slightly. I'm not cutting you out of my life. I'm just putting myself in it for the first time in 4 decades. Linda wiped her eyes. Can we help you move? Do you actually want to help, or do you want to make yourselves feel better? Both, she admitted. Definitely both. But mostly the first thing, I swear. I studied my 3 children, really looked at them. They looked shell-shocked, ashamed, scared. Good, maybe scared was what they needed. Okay, you can help me pack, all 3 of you, every Saturday until the move. 9 a.m. sharp. Bring work gloves and a good attitude. We'll be here, Marcus promised. And Ma? Sarah stood up, twisting her hands together. I'm sorry, really, really sorry. I didn't realize. I should have realized. Yes, you should have. You all should have. I met each of their eyes in turn. But I should have been honest with you instead of martyring myself and then resenting you for it. So I'm sorry too. We're going to be better, Linda said. I promise we're going to be better. Don't promise. Just do it. I picked up the lemon cake I'd baked. Now, who wants dessert? They stayed for another hour. We ate cake and talked, really talked, for the first time in years. It was awkward and painful and necessary. When they left, each one hugged me tight. Real hugs, not the quick squeezes they usually gave. After they were gone, I cleaned up the dishes and sat in my quiet house. In 2 months, it wouldn't be my house anymore. Surprisingly, I felt okay about that. Lighter, even. My phone buzzed. A text from Linda. Thank you for not giving up on us. We're going to prove you right. Then Marcus. Love you, Ma. See you Saturday at 9. I'll bring coffee. Then, Sarah. Can we have lunch after we pack? Just you and me? I want to hear about that pottery class. I smiled at my phone. Maybe there was hope for them yet. Maybe there was hope for all of us. The next morning, I called the realtor. By afternoon, I'd signed the listing papers. By evening, I'd registered for the pottery class and the book club. I even bought myself a new pair of jeans, something I hadn't done in 3 years because I'd been too busy helping my kids with their expenses. Saturday morning at 8:55, I heard cars pulling up. I looked out the window and all 3 of my children were there, early with work gloves and determined expressions. We worked all day, packing up 42 years of memories. The kids found their old school projects in the attic, their father's baseball card collection in the garage, photos from birthdays and Christmases and ordinary Tuesdays that had become extraordinary simply because we'd been together. Remember this? Marcus held up a trophy from his middle school science fair. You were so proud of that volcano. I smiled at the memory. You made me watch it erupt 15 times. Because you acted surprised every single time. His voice was thick. I realize now you did that a lot. Acted like everything we did was the most amazing thing in the world. It was. To me. Linda found her prom dress, still in its garment bag. I can't believe you kept this. I kept everything. Every drawing, every report card, every scrap of evidence that you 3 existed and were mine. Sarah was crying again, but quietly this time. We didn't deserve you. No, I agreed. But you're going to earn me now. That's the difference. The house sold in 3 weeks, over asking price, which meant I'd have a comfortable cushion for my new life. The kids helped me move into my apartment downtown. It was small but bright, with big windows and a view of the park. No room for guests to stay over. Perfect. Linda invited me to Thanksgiving at her house. Only if you want to come, she added quickly. And you're not cooking anything. You're a guest. I went. It was strange, being served instead of serving. But nice strange. Good strange. Marcus started making monthly payments toward what he owed me. Only $50 at a time, but regularly. Without me asking.
He'd also started bringing my groceries every other week, refusing to take money for them. Sarah visited every Sunday afternoon. Sometimes we talked, sometimes we just watched old movies together. She'd stopped asking for money entirely. The pottery class was harder than I expected. My first bowl looked like it had been made by a drunk raccoon. My instructor, a patient woman named Grace, just laughed and said, "Try again." So I did, and again, and again. By Christmas, I'd made a set of coffee mugs. Ugly, lopsided, but mine. I gave one to each of my kids. "They're perfect," Linda said, and I think she actually meant it. I joined the book club, made friends with women my own age who had their own stories about learning to say no to their children. We laughed about it now, but there was pain under the laughter, pain we recognized in each other. One night, 6 months after the family meeting, Linda called me. "Mom, I need your advice." My stomach clenched. Here it comes, I thought. Another crisis, another need. My friend Karen is going through something with her daughter. The daughter keeps asking for money, and Karen always gives it to her. I told her she needs to set boundaries, but she doesn't know how. I thought maybe you could talk to her. I almost laughed. My daughter was asking me to teach someone else the lesson I'd taught her. Sure. Honey, I'd be happy to. Thanks, Mom. And hey, Derek and I were talking. We want to pay for that pottery wheel you've been eyeing for your birthday, if that's okay. You don't have to do that. I know, we want to. Please let us. I agreed, but only because I could hear in her voice that this wasn't obligation. It was love, the healthy kind. A year after I moved into my apartment, I hosted a dinner party. Just my 3 kids and their families. We ordered pizza because I didn't feel like cooking, and nobody complained. The grandkids played on the floor with simple toys I'd picked up at thrift stores. Linda and Sarah washed the dishes without being asked. Marcus fixed my leaky faucet. After everyone left, I sat in my small living room with my ugly coffee mug filled with tea and looked around at my small, perfect life. I had enough money in the bank. I had hobbies that made me happy. I had children who finally saw me as a person instead of a resource. It had taken losing everything to gain what mattered. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. "Thank you for dessert. And for being honest with us last year. I know it was hard, but you saved us, Mom. You really did." I typed back, "You saved yourselves. I just stopped preventing it." Donna had been right. Hitting rock bottom had been exactly what I needed, what we all needed. I picked up the last letter Donna had written me, the one that had been at the bottom of the envelope. I'd been saving it, waiting for the right moment to read it. Tonight felt right. "Dear Margaret, if you've gotten this far, you did it. You chose yourself. I'm so proud of you, sister. Now go live the life you postponed for 42 years. You've earned it. Love always, Donna." I folded the letter carefully and tucked it into my journal. Tomorrow, I'd start on a new pottery project. Next week, the book club was reading a mystery novel I'd been excited about. Next month, I'd signed up for a day trip to the art museum with my new friends. My life wasn't over. It was finally beginning. And it was absolutely beautiful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have had the courage to confront your family like this? Or would the guilt have stopped you?